Are you looking for some super quick, easy weeknight dinners that can get you through the week? Well, we've got you covered and it's under $30. Now, the theme for this mini 3-meal dinner plan is stuffed, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Now, here is our grocery list for this week. You're going to see it's a total of 16 items, and it came out to $28.92 at Walmart. There's only one item that we're going to purchase multiples of, and that is the zucchini, but everything else is just one. Now, I will mention that on one of the recipes, it calls for ground turkey and then taco seasoning, but I was able to find taco seasoned ground turkey, so that actually saved us about $1. Now, there's 2 links down below. One goes to my Walmart grocery list, where you can see all of the items and then also see what they would cost in your local area. The second link goes to my website, where you can download. It's a 1-page PDF that has all of the recipes as well as the grocery list. So now let's take a look at our stuffed recipes. Now, I do want to mention that all 3 of these recipes are a great basic formula. And what I mean by that is on all of these recipes, you can, once you have the basics down, you can switch out the ingredients and do so much with them. So this first one is going to be stuffed shells. We're going to do a twist on chicken Alfredo. Now, to make this just so much quicker and so much easier, we are going to use a rotisserie chicken. Now, if you've ever gone to Walmart in person, you'll know that there's 2 different kinds of rotisserie chickens. One where it's hot and it's about $6. It's like $5.97. And then there's some that they move over to like a chilled case, and those are $3.97. And sometimes you can even get them cheaper than that. So we're going to use one of the chilled ones because we're going to use this for other meals, so we don't need it to be hot. Plus, I also think it's a whole lot easier to pull the meat off of the chicken when it's cold. So this is super simple. We're going to take those jumbo shells. It's a little box, but trust me, once you boil the noodles, they kind of expand and they look a lot better. And then I will say that I boil these and then I drain them and then I let them sit in the colander for a couple minutes because they're extremely hot. And if you want to, you can run just some cold water over them to kind of cool them down a little bit. So that way you can handle them, because we're going to mix our stuffing, which is chicken, Alfredo sauce, mozzarella, and whatever your favorite seasonings are. I typically go with an Italian seasoning. And then I just use a spoon and I, take some of the filling and I put it into each of the shells. And then you just put the shells in like a baking dish. I usually do like the lasagna pan where it's got like a good 2-inch rim around it. Once all your shells are in there, I just top it with a little bit more Alfredo sauce. You could also do some more seasonings, and then you just bake it. Now, I like to cover it with foil because if you leave the foil off, sometimes the top of the shells get a little crunchy or crispy, and I don't like that texture, but that's up to you. Once it's baked for about 20 minutes, then I'll pull the aluminum foil off just to make sure it's real bubbly. And then we're just going to do some simple sauteed green beans with this. I'm going to typically lean for like a garlic and herb seasoning, or just, some fresh garlic or some garlic powder, but I would just check your spice cabinet to see what you already have. For the second dinner, we are going to do stuffed zucchini, also known as zucchini boats. But we're going to do it a little bit different, because a lot of times you see like a taco stuffed or even like a spaghetti, meat sauce kind of stuffed. We're going to stuff it with barbecue chicken. So we're going to use the other half of that rotisserie chicken. We're just going to mix it with some barbecue sauce, and we're going to stuff it into our zucchini, top it with a little bit of shredded cheese, and then bake that off. Since we already have the oven on, I live in the South, and it's very common to have cornbread with, barbecue chicken. So super easy. I happen to really love the Jiffy box ones, and they're really cheap, but you could use any mix that you like. I've included the egg and the milk because that's specifically what Jiffy needs. So if you go with a different, brand name, you'll just want to double check the back to see what you would need as far as eggs or milk or whatever else it needs. Now, these are super simple. And once again, this is one of those where once you figure out how to make a zucchini boat, you can, honestly stuff it with anything that you like. This is a great way to use up leftover sloppy Joe meat, leftover spaghetti sauce. I mean, there's just so many different ways you can stuff a zucchini. For our third dinner, this is one of those that I just really love because I have found out that you can stuff a biscuit with pretty much anything. Now, I will say that for these, we're going to do a taco biscuit bomb. Sometimes I also just call them stuffed biscuits. Now, I will say that you can make bigger bombs, which, can have a little bit more stuffing in them if you go with the jumbo canned biscuits. If you go with the smaller, just regular size biscuits, you won't have as much filling in there, but you'll have more of them. I like to do those more for like a lunch or an appetizer or a snack. When I'm going more for a dinner, I go with the jumbo, but you can play that one by ear. Now, we're just going to cook off our ground turkey. And like I said earlier, I found one that includes the taco seasoning. So on ours, you have the ground turkey and then you have the taco seasoning separate. But if you can, go ahead and buy one that's already combined. You can save yourself, 50 cents to $1. And then we're going to do a side dish of the Southwest corn. It's already done for you. It's like $1.27 and it comes out really cheap. Now, we like to dip these in sour cream. But this, once again, if you get the basics of this, you can easily switch this out. And you could, instead of doing like a taco filling, you could do sloppy joes. We've done chili and cheese inside. I mean, honestly, the possibilities are endless. And they're just kind of fun. And they end up being like a bread dumpling, if you will. So good. But keep an eye on these because I put 15 to 18 minutes, but depending on if your oven runs a little bit hot, I just really start watching these after about 12 minutes because sometimes they go from, slightly golden brown to really, really brown really quick. So just keep an eye on those. So I hope that I have inspired you to make some stuffed dinners. And like I said, all three of these recipes, these are just one way to do them. You can easily switch them out to so many different fillings. Don't forget to go to the website. It's a one-page PDF. It's all in black and white, and it has the grocery list and all three recipes. We are on week 18. So if you've been, keeping up and you have like a little book, you should have a very good amount of recipes here. Now, what I love about this is if you already have a very busy week. These are all very simple ones. But if you are not a family of 4, this could easily be a full week of meals for 2 people. Or a lot of these are ones that use a lot of pantry staples. They're fairly inexpensive and you can spread these out, but they may be recipes you didn't already have. So I hope to see you guys again next week. See you later. Bye.